just out here chillin', but my wrist is cooler. Popping off this rap shit straight off my medulla.
Hello out there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Please Advise. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with this beautiful woman and also amazing poet, Miss Perfectly Imperfect.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much for coming. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? As he said, I am the poet, Perfectly Imperfect. What's up?
She most definitely is. So before we get this amazing story started, I would like to know, how did you come up with the name Perfectly Imperfect?
Ooh, child.
Yeah, we jumping right on in.
Okay.
We jumps in.
Okay. Perfectly Imperfect. I normally tell people that Perfectly Imperfect comes from when it's something within yourself that you don't want to change, that you think what makes you who you are, that's your perfections. And then you have your flaws, your mistakes. Those are your imperfections. But the truth of the matter is, my ex, yes.
Okay.
My ex. He used to tell me, I love your perfect imperfections. I never tripped off of it at all. Never really thought nothing
Paid
of
no
it.
man,
Then, for some reason, 2 years after us not being together anymore, I'm like, Perfectly Imperfect. And it's just stuck with me. And actually 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, is when I started getting on stage and performing. So it all came together. Sometimes God just put things on your heart at a time where it's your time. So I thank God for that. So I thank my ex. No hard feelings, no nothing. So yeah.
Well, there you go. I didn't expect that. Like I definitely expected more of the first reason that you said, which is an amazing reason within itself. Yeah. But now to hear that backstory, I appreciate the exclusive.
Yes, I'm very transparent. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, so as with everybody else, now that we know where Miss Perfectly Imperfect comes from, we're gonna go ahead and start at the beginning. Okay. Are you from here, St. Louis?
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I love my city, but they be tripping. But yes, I was born and raised here in St. Louis, South Side. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Where'd you go to school?
Where did I not go to school? Because we moved a lot. So I went to, as far as high schools, I went to Hazelwood East.
Okay.
I went to Notoriety. I went to Gateway Christian, and I ended up in Job Corps where I did complete my trade in retail sales, and I did get my high school diploma, and I also got my driver's license. So I graduated in 2002, and I'm so grateful for Job Corps.
Yes.
So, and actually, I work there now. So yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Look at you. So that's a whole full circle.
Yes.
A whole full circle. So so you just unpacked a lot for us right then.
I did.
So you know I'm finna have to jump into that just a smidge. Now you done named about 6-7 high schools. And as I don't think none one of them high schools in the same district of each other.
No, they're not.
So
I said we moved. We did a little move.
You did. What was growing up like for you?
Growing up for me, it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't bad. It was like I said, we just moved a lot, and it just got to a point where I started like from elementary and middle school. I was in the Rockwood School District. I loved it. That's also what made me appreciate other ethnicities. You know what I mean? Because from being in a black neighborhood to being bussed out to most, majority of Caucasians, it was like, at first it was weird for me. I was just like, I'm not used to this, but they accepted us, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, they loved us for who we were, not just, they're black. But so growing up for me was nice because I got to experience so many different things. And like I said, I went to a Christian school as well, Gateway Christian. So that gave me a little discipline. Then Job Corps gave me more discipline.
I would imagine.
But growing up for me was so awesome. I didn't grow up with a mother that wasn't around or anything. And unfortunately, some people did. I had a very strict grandmother, and I didn't jump off the porch, as some people would call it, like jumping off the porch, like getting into stuff. I didn't do that until I was like 16 years old. Okay. So, and I never had a fight. So it's like, and everybody like, how you from the South Side? You never had a fight.
I was the math wasn't mathing,
right. I'm just like, because I never tripped. I'm not the type of woman, or I wasn't the type of little girl at that time that tripped off talk. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of females do. That just do this. I don't trip off that. I'm more of okay, you know, and they state the obvious, like, you got some big eyes. Really? Tell me.
I didn't see that this morning.
Tell me something I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, growing up for me was cool. I didn't have no issues with nobody. Never had nobody that was a major factor in my life where I had to trip off of them. So
that's what's up.
Cool.
What kind of activities were you into? I know you moved around a lot. So, but were you in any activities like band or cheerleading or?
I was in double dutch in middle school.
Okay, so they had a double dutch program at the school.
Mm-hmm, in middle school. And then I was also in a lot of plays. When I was in middle school.
Like which ones?
I was actually in Pocahontas.
Oh. Were you Pocahontas?
I was not Pocahontas.
Okay.
I was just. I was not Pocahontas.
Okay.
It was somebody else that was Pocahontas, and she played awesome. Amber. I'm not gonna say her last name, but I'm just gonna say Amber. She played an awesome Pocahontas, and now I see her on Facebook, and she looks like Pocahontas for real in real life right now. So I love it. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, yeah. and that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so So I don't want to you to go too far into this, but you did say that you end up graduating and everything from Job Corps. So what kind of took you out of the conventional route, I guess? Like,
regular school into Job Corps.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm very transparent, so I don't have a problem with sharing anything really. I made a mistake when I was in Normandy back in 2000, and thinking I was in a new neighborhood, like we discussed. I moved around. I was in a new neighborhood. I met this guy. My first job was at the Popeyes on Natural Bread.
Natural Bread
and Hanley. Okay, that was my very first job. Okay, I met this guy up there. He was like, "You don't look familiar. Are you new in the neighborhood?" Yeah, blase, blase. I go to Normandy. I said, "Yeah, I'll be going there too." So and so, so and so. He said, "Okay, cool." Long story short. So, I ended up going to Normandy for the summer before I actually got into, the regular school season year, whatever. And he asked me to take a picture. I'm very transparent, okay? Y'all gonna hear me say that a lot, okay? So, he asked me to take a picture, and I was like, okay, no problem. I like to smile. I always like taking pictures.
Yeah.
He said, not no regular picture. I said, what you mean? What does that mean? What is not a regular picture?
Right, because this is this ain't today.
Right.
So
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So we going back all the way in 2000.
When
okay.
camera phones was just starting to.
Yeah. We had disposables. Okay. Had the little yellow ones. Take the Walgreens.
Yeah.
Okay. If you know.
If you know,
okay.
you definitely know.
So and at this time, so we was in classroom. Was in science class. I will never forget it. And we had the chalkboard on wheels. Do you remember that? Where they would roll the chalkboard around.
Yes.
If you don't know about this, you're too young. Go to sleep or something. Go do something. So that's where we was at. We was behind the chalkboard. The class was on the other side of the chalkboard. We were on this side. And I was like, what you talking about? No regular picture. He ended up saying, show something. I'm like, show something. Only thing I ever had was boobs, okay? That's all I ever had. And, never had none of the backside, okay? So I basically flashed the camera, and I went to school for about a week after that. And I noticed people were staring at me. Nobody ever said anything directly to me. They just kept staring, and I heard little chatters or whatever, but nothing, significant. So, but I'll ask him throughout that week that I was going to school or whatever. I'm like, did you get the pictures developed? He said, no, this, that, and the third. One day, it sounded like I'm going to my last period class. The teacher wasn't there. Everybody is sitting outside the hallway.
We know when the teacher ain't there.
Right. So we all in the hallway. I wasn't talking to nobody because I was always like an introvert anyway at that time. And so next thing you know, it sounded like a herd of animals was running up the steps. Okay. He led the herd, the one that took the picture. Soon as he got up, our class is right there at the steps. Yeah. He leading the herd and took the picture, threw it in my face. And at that point, that's when I knew why everybody was sniggling and giggling and looking at me. Basically, the whole school, most of the school had already seen the picture, and I wasn't embarrassed or anything like that. It was more so the questions. Like, did y'all sleep together? Did y'all go together? So I got tired of that, and for like 2 weeks after that, I got tired of all the questions, and I acted like I was going to school because my mom, of course. So I pretended I was going to school, but I was really going to my grandma's house, and and that's what I ended up telling my mom, like, this is what happened, and she said either you're going to go back to school or you got to get out, and Job Corps was my last resort. So.
Oh my God. It's the transparency of it all.
I'm grown now, so I was a kid then.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I don't have any questions about this. I feel like you. Oh my God. Okay, so you go to Job Corps. So.
Okay, so you go to Job Corps.
Yeah. So you go to Job Corps. So. What is Job Corps? Okay, so, because for me, I went all 4 years to the same school. I graduated, blah, blah, blah. So, but I always knew kids that went to Job Corps for whatever reason they went. Some was bad, some was not bad.
Right.
So, Job Corps was an outlet for kids to, go if they couldn't go the conventional route. So, what was Job Corps like?
Job Corps at that time for me was, like I keep saying, different. A lot of things were different to me. Because you have students from all over the world.
Right.
So you got different gangs coming in there. You have people that not used to being around the same sex all the time. You in a room with five other females.
Okay, so that's how it is. They put y'all in rooms and it's 5 of y'all.
We had dorms.
Okay.
And when I started off, that's what I was. I was residential, which means I lived on that campus. And I did that for maybe 6 to 7 months. And after that, I fell into a very deep depression. And I ended up becoming non-res, which is where I'll just get up every morning like I was going to school and go to the center. And that's the first time I actually started drinking. I started smoking, and like right after that, actually, that's when I started getting into different things. And but I never got in trouble when I was there. I did what I had to do. Of course, I'll play around in class and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for Job Corps because, like I said, it's like your last resort to where either you're gonna finish here or that's it.
In some cases,
I knew I had to keep pushing myself. So once I got done with my trade and I graduated, when I put that gown on, that cap and gown, that was everything to me. That's the best experience I ever had in my life personally.
Yeah.
I never went to college or anything, but I thank God so much for Job Corps because it's just a whole 360. If it's what you want. So it's a mental thing. It's what you're supposed to do for yourself. So.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the graduation, the putting on the cap and the gown, because for most of us, I cannot say most of us, but for most of the people that I know and have interacted with since I grew up, a lot of our parents did not go off to school if they graduated high school. So me, I was the oldest child, so I always knew I had to graduate high school. If I didn't do nothing else, I needed to set at least that example. So for me, when I put on my cap and gown, it literally was everything. So when you just said that, and I'm sure a lot of us feel that way. When we put on that cap and gown and you actually achieve something, like it's at that point.
Nothing else even matters. Nothing matters.
I promise you are. It's and even after the day, like we walked around. After the graduation, you kind of keep it on all day, and you go everywhere you go. Yeah, because you're so proud, and everybody see you, and they congratulate like that. I've been married and everything like that, so I've had significant milestones in my life. But I want to say that is definitely top 3 to 5. Like for real, and it may seem so minuscule to some people, but to me, graduating high school, putting on that gown, walking across that stage, getting that recognition that I did that first. Because sometimes you'll be around your peers, especially when you're young, and it can really deter you from doing what you're supposed to do. And my thing is, I even had some peers at that time that left Normandy after me that came to Job Corps and tried to throw that back in my face with the picture situation. But I did not. And I would not allow that to stop me because I knew it was it. I was like, I'm going to put on this cap and gown. Y'all keep talking. Okay, y'all never seen boobs before. But
I'm not gonna let that stop me. I'm here for it. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. We can't wait on nobody else. So we have to encourage ourselves to do what we have to do. Mm-hmm. And once I put on that cap and gown, once I received that diploma, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's what all this was for. But I had to go through everything that I went through to get to my graduation day. So I thank God for everything that I went through.
Yeah. So we graduate. We grown now. We grown. Hey. So where is life taking Miss Perfectly Imperfect at that point?
At that point, oh man, it was a lot of hurdles. Mm-hmm. It's like once I graduated, mission accomplished. I felt like I was grown then.
Yes.
You know, right when I graduated, I'm like, I ain't gotta worry about nothing. I don't care no more. I got my high school diploma.
Yeah.
I don't care if I ain't have a job, but I graduated.
I graduated. Said quick. I graduated. Yeah.
But big dot. But that's really how I felt. So I started being very promiscuous. A lot of people would say hoe, call it what you want, whatever. But that's what it did for me. I became very promiscuous because, like I said, I didn't jump off the porch until later on in life anyway. So by being so secluded and then not having my father around, we may get into that later. But yeah, I started doing a lot of things that where I didn't know my worth. So I did that for like almost 4 years after graduating, and then that big girl part of me really came in, and
Okay, so I do want to touch on one statement that you just said.
Yeah.
The part where you said didn't know your worth. So for me, I don't feel like promiscuity is necessarily in direct correlation with knowing your worth. Because me and anybody who really knows me, but I have never felt that I was beneath, lesser than, or that I was, not worthy of, I guess, love. Right. Because ultimately, I guess that's what the goal is. So I never felt that, though. I just felt like, listen, I am me. This is something that I like to do. And thank goodness people like to do it with me. Right. So
you play all day.
So yay. So I just want to touch, is that really how you feel, or do you think that that's how society sees it, especially with the young woman?
Society sees it as you just being a hoe. Me, I felt, at that time, honestly, just prior to that, I had been, dealt with a lot of physical, sexual things, that I didn't approve of, and that was against my will. And I didn't have a father around, so not having no real men in my life kind of made me fall into that. No matter what man, he can say you look good. That felt good to me. Okay. So what can I do to make him feel good? You know what I'm saying? Or if I give my body to him, he's gonna love me. He's gonna take my dad's spot, or he's gonna take this particular guy's spot in my life that didn't love me. But like I said, as I got older, I began to love myself. That's why I said I didn't know my worth, and I didn't really know that wasn't love. That was more so lust. It was just a physical thing. It was just filling a void. So yeah. Okay. And I guess that would probably be the ultimate difference for us. Yeah. Like, now that you broke it down, now I get that. Yeah. I get that. But I can't, say that I was filling a void. I was just fucking. Don't get me wrong. I had my moments where it was on that level too. Yeah. But the most of it was because I was trying to fill a void. Okay. So you come out of that phase. So I want to talk about the young woman that decides to start writing poetry. Because that's the woman I met. Yes. And that is the beautiful woman that's sitting here today. So I want to talk about her. So how did you even get into poetry? Oh man, life experiences got me into poetry. Far as different losses I took, things that I struggled with in life, relationships, family trauma, just life, and I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody at the time, and I think it started probably when I was like 21, actually, I started writing, and I'm 38 now. So I felt like, okay, don't nobody want to really listen to my problems. Don't nobody care about what I'm going to write it down. And I didn't look at it as really being a poem. It was just writing what I felt. And like a journal. And then I told my best friend, who was my best friend at the time, I started reading it to her. I'm like, she was shocked, and she was kind of upset with me because I never told her the things that I experienced. Yeah. But she was just like, you need to, do you go to open mics? Do you do this and this and the third? And I was like, no. I'm like, don't nobody want to hear about me. Who want to know about my life? But once I got on that stage, I realized that my life story was also somebody else's story. And when they wonder how did I turn all that around, that was just it kept me on the stage now going on almost 2 years. So
yes, for all of that. So and because you said it, when you started to write your feelings down versus expressing it, do you feel like maybe you didn't have anybody to express it to, or was it more so of, I don't know if I even know how to express it? Because
it was a mixture.
Okay.
It was a mix. Because my trust issues are like this, you know what I mean? Very thin. So if I go to someone and tell them something, I don't want them to come back to me and throw it in my face, Yeah. So, and then there's been times where I've told people my issues, people that I thought I was like this with, and they don't believe you. They think that you just want attention. And I'm just like, certain things you just can't make up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is real life. I can't make up. I can tell you what I had on, what part of the house, what this, that, and the third.
Like, it's an experience that you can't fabricate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I was just like, you know what? Let me just forget it. I'm gonna let this pen and paper, talk to me or whatever. And like I said, once I got on the mic, man, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
So I want to talk just a little bit more about, I guess, the writing process. Not so much, exactly what you wrote,
right?
But I want to talk about, how did you find the words?
Ugh.
And that may be a real big question, but I do want to know, because I always ask people about their artistic process, because it fascinates me how some people get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I that's a question that I would really like to know about, kind of your process, I guess.
The words. The words. And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because you've been taught, a lot of us been taught, be careful with the words that you say.
Yes, words are very important.
Because you can't take it back once it come out. You can't, So it's basically, for me, it was just, okay, I went through this, so I'm going to write it down. This is true, so I'm going to write it down. And once I kept reading it back to myself, what I'll write, it's like, for real, Perfectly? Or at that time, I didn't have a name. I was just Natalie, which is, my God-given name. And I was just like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So it started, I don't know, I can't say, the words basically just came from my experience.
Okay.
It came from my heart. It came from my trauma. It came from everything. Whatever that poem is about, whatever that piece is about, that's where the words came from.
Yes.
And sometimes they just come together, and it's just like, oh yeah? So, yeah, and so I'm grateful. And then sometimes I wasn't always the smartest, and I'm definitely not the dumbest. So sometimes I'll look in the dictionary, like, what's another word that means this, or another word that means that. Sometimes I don't want just no simple word. I want, you know what I mean?
You need the word to hit a little harder.
Yeah, so sometimes we gotta dig a little bit deeper. Don't just settle in that little simple word or that little simple act. Go a little bit deeper. So that's what I did.
Beautiful. No, like seriously, you explained it perfectly. Like you really did. I didn't expect you to, say I sat down and all that. But what you did tell me was that you learned not so much how to write, but you learn how to express it the way you feel like it should be expressed.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I can write, I walked across the street, you know, I was dancing to the beat. Right. Yes, the words are on there, they rhyme. But when you actually think about what those words mean and use different words in there, it tells the story differently.
That's it.
And sometimes I find myself doing the same thing. Like, I mean, of course not in real time, but when I think about how I talk to people and I watch my tapes back, sometimes I will pull out my little thesaurus and like, you know, next time I ask this question, let me find another word to kind of throw in there. Go. You know, there just for my own sake.
That's it.
So that I feel like I can see growth in how I speak.
That's what it's like, growth. If you're not growing, you're not, what are you learning? You know what I mean? If you, that's just like, if you never been through no struggles, no situation that's elevate you, like, you can't even have a conversation with me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just period, point blank. You ain't never been through nothing. I'm sorry.
We can't relate. We can't relate. Yeah. You know, like I mean, we've been through, of course, different things, but we've been through some shit.
Exactly.
So we can speak at a level where we can understand each other's trauma. I'm gonna use that word without even having to say specifically what it is. And that's why I get when you just said, if you ain't been through nothing, I don't know if we can really click clack because because I don't know, and this is, you know, going a little, you know, to the side, but for me, I feel like for me to be able to open up and share with somebody else, I'm not saying it's tit for tat, you have to tell me something, then I'll tell you something.
Exactly.
But I need to know that you are able to receive what I'm saying and not fucking judge me.
That's it. That's all. Yeah. Yeah.
And I swear that's my biggest pet peeve. Please don't fucking judge me, because I feel like I don't judge other people.
That's it. Yes, Lord. Right. And I'm with you. I'm with you.
And that's just that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started to write our poems. We have expressed to our friend that, you know, this is what we do in our spare time. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to talk a little bit about, not the specific conversation, but how did that kind of transcribe between you and your friend? Because I can imagine if it were me and my friend comes to me with a book of, you know, poems, and I'm like, bitch, what? So no shade, like, what the fuck, like, we talk every day. So kind of you know, if you want to tell me just a little bit about how.
Oh man, that went kind of, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would have been. But once I told her, she was just like, you my bestie, like we do everything together, we go out together, we do this together, you know about my relationships. And I'm like, look, like, some things just I don't want to dwell on, or I don't want to put my issues off on you. Although, you know, I'm that venting ear, so people feel comfortable with talking to me, which at that time I didn't feel comfortable with. Just, I don't care what your title was with me.
Correct.
I felt like no, but now it's like I have certain people in my life where they know certain things.
Yes.
Because everybody in your that's attached to you don't
everything
need to,
ain't for everybody.
My mama don't need to know certain things I tell my best friend. My best friend don't need to know what I tell my cousin. My cousin don't need, you know what I mean? It's just everybody has their own levels in your life.
As they should.
That's just where it is right now. That's it.
But yeah, okay, so the general gist I wanted to get was that there was definitely a conversation that y'all had to work through.
Of course.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
So you, I guess, are getting more confident with your writing. You starting to share it with people.
Yes.
So tell me about the first appearance.
Oh, on stage?
Yes. Well, even the first, well, I can't say the first time sharing it because we already talked about that. Right. So yes, the first time on stage.
My first time.
Or how did that even manifest itself? I want to hear the whole story.
The whole story?
Yes.
Of being on stage. Being on stage for the first time, it was very, 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 very nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. Scary as hell, okay?
Yeah.
Fuck that. Scary as shit, okay?
Tell us.
Scary as shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was asked to get on the mic. Like, I'll go there and watch other people, and I'm like, okay, I love it. I like that. I like how they put that together. I like how she do this, he do that. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna. Something just kept. I'm like, I'm coming there every week. Why don't you get up there?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you got the little devil right here and the angel right here. You know what I mean? I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
What'd you say? I don't know.
Right.
But one night, I went to Word Up, which is an open mic that they have at Legacy every Tuesday. I went there and I put on my big girl draws, and I try not to be the first one on the list, so I go down to like number 5 or 6.
Yeah, let me let y'all warm it up.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm gonna be in between. I don't know how what they actor is or what they gift is or whatever. So let me go ahead and get in like in the middle somewhere. Yeah. So once they called me, it still took me a while to get out the seat. I remember they said my name twice. I heard them, but it wasn't clicking.
Yeah. Did you go by yourself?
I did go by myself.
Okay. So
that was even more nerve wracking.
Right. You ain't got nobody to say, bitch, get up.
Man, I was like, yeah. But it was definitely on my heart. So I did get up eventually. Okay. And when I got up on stage, I was just like, I don't know. My first thing is just to say, hey, how y'all doing? I don't know what it was. Something just, I want to know how y'all doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And once they said, we cool, whatever the crowd says, that's when I just got into it, and I was nervous. I stumbled over words. I was stuttering. I was just, although I got it right there in front of me, I'm like.
So you read off the, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, they was like, rewind. That's something they do with poetry. If you skip over some stuff, they, you slacking, you just rewind, start over, whatever. And I did it, and they was like, just slow down next time. Just, so I was getting some good feedback. And some people can't take criticism. I can't. Criticism, if it's going to help me, if it's going to elevate me, make me better, please give me some constructive criticism. I'm asking you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, nah, don't tell me okay, so you can't be taught. You know what I'm saying? You think you just too good, you just can't be taught. Teach me.
I just feel like, and this is me, I just feel like the greatest people in the world at doing whatever they do, they are still criticized. You have to be able to, especially when you put yourself out to the public.
That's it.
You can say, like me, I like to say all the time, I don't give a fuck. Which,
right.
Period, poo, I don't.
Right.
But at the same time, I do care how my content is received. Whether you like Tim Nook or you don't, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But for me to put Please Advise out, I do need you to like that content. I do care about your opinion about that. So I think there's a distinction between I don't care and, you know what I'm saying, well, maybe you should care.
Exactly.
Especially if you want people to partake or enjoy what you do. You have to care.
Exactly.
And you have to be able to take that from them when they say, hey, cuz.
Okay.
Like them saying you speak too fast.
Yeah.
You might not have thought you was talking fast.
I was trying to get it over with.
You was trying to get it over with, right?
Nervous.
So you can understand how they may think.
Right.
You were speaking fast, and that's the maturity of it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do that a couple of times. I'm guessing you become more comfortable.
Of course.
So what is your progression into it? Because now I know you only said you only been really doing it for about 2 to 3 years.
Almost 2 years.
But I see you. So tell me about some of these groups and organizations, and how did all of that, how did you start gaining that notoriety is the word I will use?
The more I came to Word Up, the more I went to other open mics and got on stage and just getting to know the poetry community, knowing not only am I a big supporter of the poetry community, I'm a supporter of comedy, the comedy community, the musicians. So I try to, can't make it to every event, but correct. I try to make it to almost every event that I can to just support. And because that's the only way we're gonna make it. If we don't have nobody supporting us, how we gonna make it? So even if I'm the only one in the audience, I'm going to support you.
Yeah.
So people started seeing that I was coming around. Like I said, I was different platforms. I'll get on the mic, and it's not what you know, is who you know. And I started getting to know of people that I didn't even know what level they was in life. You know what I mean? So it's not about, oh, she just talking to me because I didn't know who you were.
I don't know who you are.
And
right.
like I didn't know who you were. You know,
girl, ain't nobody.
So you are. I am somebody. Okay. You are somebody. You gotta damn well know it.
I am.
So it's just, you know, and it's also about energy. You know what I'm saying? If you got good energy, real people, a real person, they gonna recognize that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Real recognize real, and a lot
All
of
the time.
a lot of real people recognize me. And then we had some fake ones, but okay.
So I want to talk about two things that you kind of went into there. The first one I do want to talk about is that support. Support is important, and I think, and again, I can only speak for me.
That's okay.
I think sometimes people mistake support for loyalty. And I'm gonna tell you why I think. I'm gonna tell you why I think people mistake support for loyalty. When it comes to dealing with family and you having a craft or whatnot, I think there is a fine line between your family's support and your family's loyalty. I think
all in my business.
I think your family will be loyal to the point where they will, you know, not wish bad upon you or whatever you got going. They
won't support you.
But
let me have it.
Yeah, sip a little bit, because now we turn to the support. Me personally, I don't expect support from. I ain't even gonna limit it to my family. I'm gonna say people that I have friendships with. That's the way I want to say that.
Okay.
And I don't want nobody to feel no kind of way, but I do want to express my point, because I feel like I know either Tim or Nook, whichever way you want to call it.
Right.
That's who y'all know. But me here on this platform, I feel like I'm not different, but I present differently. So I feel like you may not necessarily get with that guy. Not that it's a different person, but you just don't get with that format of me. So I'm okay if you don't watch every episode. I'm okay if you don't attend every event, because again, you know Tim/Nook. That's who you knew. Now I'm this persona, so I can understand you don't get with that. So it's okay. I can't feel no kind of way if I ask you about my show and you don't know. I can't feel no way.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
Because again, just like I'm building an audience with the strangers, I need to build my audience with you.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
So, and I can't expect immediate support because you don't know that. You have to grow to know that person. So for me, that's why I never get mad when people don't show up, or people say, "Oh, I'm gonna come to your this," and they don't. I can't get mad. I can't, because they are just another person out there, and your family and friends ain't gonna make you rich and famous unless they rich and famous. Otherwise, you need the strangers.
That's it.
And that's my thought on it.
My thing is, I love how you just. I'm just gonna stamp. Because the main thing, the number one thing, and this is in growth. We was talking about growth a little bit earlier.
Yes.
Is if nobody shows up, if nobody supports you in no way, shape, form, or fashion, you show up for you. And I'm not saying, of course you're gonna be at the show. It's your show.
It's your show.
But when I say show up, you better show out like you got. It's a standing room only.
Do what you do
know what I mean?
For you.
Period. Don't wait on nobody, because if don't nobody show up, what you gonna give up? Like, come on, man, stop that. Don't play with
me.
Like,
like, do what you do for you.
Yes.
For you. I do this show for me. I don't give a fuck if I have 6 fucking viewers every week. Thanks, y'all 6. You know. Thank you. Because again, I do it for me. It's therapeutic for me.
Yes.
I love meeting new people.
Yes.
I love talking. It's mine. And I do it for me because I love it. Now, thank the Lord. some other people like it too.
Yes.
But you know, it's for me. It is. And I imagine that's what poetry is for you.
Yeah. Poetry is an outlet. Poetry is my woosah. You know what I mean? It's my numb your whole ring ain't kill. If you know what's love got to do with it. Okay, numb your whole ring. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's meditation for me. It's peace. It's my calm after the storm type situation. I love it. Even if I'm not writing myself, if I go somewhere and listen to somebody else, or just sit in a room and just listen to other different poets, and I'm like, okay, I can breathe now. Now I can go back and do what I was doing.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
So the second thing that I wanted to address, because I said it was two things. So the first thing was the support. The second thing that I wanted to, hold on, don't let me lose it. The second thing I wanted to talk about, what you talked about. You know what? I think I did lose it. I got so wrapped up on loyalty versus support.
It's okay.
Okay, so, but what I do want to say is, so now that you are, I guess, in the community, that's what I was gonna say, going to people's stuff.
Okay.
And I guess I touched on this a little bit with the support, but you have to put into the community what you want out of the community. Like for you, how you said you went to, you know, different poets, different open stuff. Like people have to see you. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I didn't realize that, or if that's just something that I kind of understood as I grow doing this. You know, because I obviously need to talk to people. I can't talk to myself. So.
Well, you can, but then
there'll be a different type of show. It'll be a different type of show. So yeah. So, but what I have realized is that now that I have, you know, started to go outside, and you know, go to people's stuff and attend certain events, like I meet so many other people, and when people shoot me a tag out or share one of my posts or something, like I appreciate every single one of them, every single fucking one of them. I promise I do, and. I do, because I feel like even if they just sharing my shit because I shared theirs, that's fine. Yeah. But it's the reciprocation of it. And secondly, I still feel fucking special. Okay. Thank you. Because I'm sure you know people that I don't know. Right. So I definitely want to touch on those two things. Okay. Support and showing up for people. Those two things. So that's it for that. So now that you are in the community. So what are some of the things, like what's a normal, I guess, I don't even want to say day. I want to say what's a normal kind of, I guess, cycle of events for Miss Perfectly Imperfect. If that's the way I even want to phrase it, because I know you be outside. So like what's knocking at your door?
Oh man. Let's see here. Well, I have this here. Please advise. With yours truly.
Yes.
It's I will be actually on the show tomorrow for Mother's Day. Doing next to 2 other poets, next to 3 female comedians. It's an all woman Sex in the City type deal. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
It has. Man, it's...
Or, you know what? Maybe I asked that question wrong.
Because I'm like...
What has it done for you in terms of your personal growth? Gaining that notoriety. That's a better way for me to say it.
It has made me... And we talked about worth earlier too. But it made me realize my worth even more.
Yes.
It made me love myself even more. And I'm very humble. I'm not one of those, I'm this, I'm so. People know my name now. No, calm down, little one. I'm very humble. I'm very blessed. I'm very appreciative of those like Tim Nook. I'm very appreciative of those that see me. And not see me in the physical, but when I speak and when I do a piece and they see like, damn. Like those words or a particular piece within itself, it touched them in a way where I need you on this platform. I need you on my show. I need you to, and it don't have anything to do with money. It doesn't have anything to do with no pats on the back or anything like that. It's more so somebody needs to hear you. Someone needs to see what I see in you. And sometimes you have those like Mr. Nook who see more in you than you see in yourself. And for that, I am so grateful because it was unexpected. It was very unexpected. So I'm like, I'm serious. To go from writing something in a book and not sharing it with anyone to years later getting on the stage to a year after that, people seeing you and wanting you on different platforms and different shows that encourages you, that motivates you, that pushes you not only to do better for yourself, but like I said, to love yourself, to encourage yourself, to see what they see in you. Mm-hmm. Get up every day, like Mary J said, "Good morning, gorgeous."
Yes.
It don't got nothing to do with your makeup, what clothes you got on, just seeing the internal you, you know. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Now, before we go, I did ask you to memorize a little something. Just a little something. So I would love for them to experience. You ain't even gotta do a whole poem. Just give us a little something. Just so, because like you said, you want people to see you.
Yeah.
And when I came to that show that you were a part of that day, I saw you. And I want to say when I left that show, I don't know who I talked to, but I said, you know what? I have never attended an open mic or a poetry or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Not that there was, but she was there. Mm-hmm. So, I was like, but the way she delivered that poem, I don't want you to do that poem. I want you to do another one. But the way she delivered that poem, it talked to me. It did, and I had to have you on the show. I had to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So that's enough about me. So now, go ahead.
Okay, so this piece is short. It's called Perfectly Imperfect. Okay. I'm not perfect, but I'm worth it. Mm-hmm. I'm not perfect, but I am worth it. I don't think y'all hearing me. I'm not perfect, but I'm worth it. I am perfectly imperfect. Now some may question, make it make sense. How you're not perfect, but your name is perfectly imperfect. Well, let me explain. I'm not first in line. I'm not second. I may not even be third, but I'm patiently waiting my turn because I know how to praise those that came before me. And what I realize is, you got to go through to get to, go through them hurts, habits, struggles, shackles that have you bound for becoming the best you. That's my go through. So I'm going to be still, like that piece, be still, because I'm next in line for a miracle. I'm not perfect, but I'm worth it. I am perfectly imperfect. Depression, suicidal thoughts, social anxiety, just to name a few. That dark place. Feeling out of place, lost in space. Have your good and your bad days. Your good sometimes outweigh your bad sometimes outweigh your good. But somehow you keep putting on this masquerade because you don't want people to see the real you. The one whom you ask God above to set free. But I'm not perfect, but I'm worth it. I am perfectly imperfect. Now if I bond to you, I'll cling to you. And some people have an issue with that. But if I cling to you, it only means that I love you. I'm loyal to you. I respect you. I desire you and I crave you. And I'm not just talking about with a man. I'm talking about with family and friends. Because you're not used to someone like me, someone that's not used to being close. So when I get close, I'll bond to you. I'll cling to you. Because I love you, I'm loyal to you, I respect you, I desire you, and I crave you. And I won't apologize for it. Because as I said before and I'll say it again, and you might get tired of hearing me say it, but I'm not perfect. But I'm worth it. And I will always remain perfectly imperfect. That's that piece.
See? Listen.
You are silly.
No, because I love it. And like I said, I've never been big into poetry or anything like that, but I'm telling you, when I heard you speak that day, I felt those words, and just right here today, I felt those. There is such power in words, and yes, I'm so glad you have learned to use them.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you have come on my show today. And I continue to be so glad to know you.
Thank you.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
No problem.
I do want to give you the last couple of minutes to kind of let everybody know where to find you, where they can hear your work, what things you have coming up in the not close future, but a little later. A little later on.
Tomorrow,
not tomorrow. But a little down the line. A little down the line. Let them know. The floor is yours, girl.
Okay, so again, I am Perfectly Imperfect, the poet. Man, it has been an incredible journey this past year and a half. And you can find me on 8perfectly_imperfect3 on Instagram. That's the number 8perfectly_imperfect3 on Instagram. Or you can even use my government on Facebook, Natalie Brown Ridge. It is spelled the way it sounds. In June, can't think of the day right now, but if you follow me, you'll find it. In June, I will be doing a podcast 101, so you may be getting even deeper into who Perfectly Imperfect is. So I will be with Tweezy the Don, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Soldiers by Blood, okay?
Yes, for the shout out.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. So, man, I don't know what else is coming because, you know, I'm just sit back and be patient and let God do what he do. So again, I am so grateful for being here on Please Advise with Mr. Tim Nook. Man, he is so incredible. If you don't know him, get to know him. Because when I first met him, I didn't even know who he was. There's somebody in the audience, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, God will put people in your path that is going to bless you. And like I said, it's not financially, it's not materialistically. It's just to have somebody positive and somebody that share the same energy as you. So be appreciative of those kind of people that's in your life, you know what I'm saying? Because you will regret it if you don't bump into them, okay? So, I love you all. Be blessed. Don't ever sleep on yourself. If somebody else sleeping on you, if don't nobody else show up for you, you stay woke for yourself. You show up for yourself. You encourage yourself. You love on yourself. You speak over yourself. You pray over yourself. Don't wait on nobody. Do you.
All of that. Every single bit of that times 2 because I said it too. And on that note, I do want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank you for continually supporting me. Please, please, please continue to like, share, and make everybody you know subscribe. Yes. And until next time, stay tuned.
Yeah.
I'm just out here chilling, but my wrist is cooler. Popping off this rap shit straight off my medulla. Real nigga status compliment the shooters. Real nigga status compliment the shooter. Yeah. I'm just out here living.